Welcome to Leadership Unscripted. Today on this episode, you are in for a treat. I just told the governor I'm fanguying over here because I'm so excited about you getting to hear from one of the greatest leaders of our generation. When you think of a leader who thinks bigger than most people, who thinks brighter, and who thinks better than leaders that have come and gone, you're going to hear from that person today. The governor of Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, is joining us. We're going to talk about education. We're going to talk about her passion for the next generation. You're going to hear about how she thinks about the importance of leadership, not only in our country, but in the great state of Arkansas. So, Governor, thank you so much for letting us come to your state and in your beautiful home. We're so honored to be here.
Well, we're excited that you're here, and I feel like I should quit now because that's a pretty good intro.
That was pretty good, right?
I don't usually get that kind of build up, so I feel like it's all downhill from here. But hopefully, we'll learn a little bit. And I love that you're representing both our country on one side and then the best state in the country on the other.
And the best state on the country, right?
So,
and we talked about this, like a NASCAR. I'm not sure what else I could wear, right? But
don't say that, or we'll have you.
You will have me, yeah.
Suit and tie, like with Arkansas.
I almost bought. I wanted to tell you, I almost bought a Razorback tie that had all the Razorbacks on there. But then I thought, well, I'm not. Where am I going to wear that again?
There's still time. I mean, you can wear.
I could still wear that.
It's universal. You can wear it anywhere.
I couldn't wear it with my UGA tie though. That would be. I couldn't wear them both at the same time.
Yeah, you'd only want to have the more superior school.
The more superior. Yes, of course. Of course, I would. All right. Hey, let's get started. I want you to talk a little bit about where you see education today, right? And why you believe that, we've got to pay attention more. I mean, I know it's a big initiative. We talked to your Secretary of Education, and he says when you got here, you called him and you said, this is number one priority for us. Talk about why it's a priority, and talk about the urgent priorities you see nationally for education.
Well, I think from my perspective, there are a couple of key responsibilities that you have as a governor in this role. Public safety is one of the most important, and second, I think, is education, because it is the great equalizer. It is what allows anybody, no matter what their life looks like, no matter what advantages or disadvantages they may have, to create their own success story and to write their own ticket. And so making sure that every single student in our state has access to a quality education is key, and everybody's is going to look different. The idea, I'm a mom, I have 3 kids, and I know that all 3 of my kids learn differently, need different things, need different environments. So the idea that a one-size-fits-all, heavy-handed approach is going to help every kid be successful is crazy to me. Yeah. So really going about and making sure that there are vast opportunities. I believe every kid can learn when given the right tools and given the right environment. And so how do we do a better job of making sure every single student has access to what works for them? And so that's what we set out to do: get rid of barriers, empower parents, and create an environment where everybody can be successful.
Yeah, that's really good. I love the theme that we hear from you and your team in education and everywhere about building an environment for success for students, because there's so many students who are just looking for that hope or that opportunity for success. It's really good. Talk about how your Learns initiative is really kind of the engine that's pushing that, and what you love about it, and what you're excited about to see how that grows.
I got really good advice coming into this seat. And so a couple of key things that I was told by both my dad and also the governor of Montana, who became a great friend and a mentor. But he said, make a list of the things that you want to do that will be the hardest and the biggest, boldest pieces of legislation. If you think you're going to get to be governor for 8 years, what are the biggest things you can go out and do? And he goes, and do them fast. He said, you'll never be as popular as you are on your first day. And if you're willing to spend political capital early, you can get bigger things done. And so that's what we did. I didn't want to just tinker around the edges. I knew that if we were going to make major change and see a big shift, not just in the actual policy, but the culture around education in our state, we were going to have to do something really bold and transformative. And so we didn't just do a little bit and tinker on the edges. We made a list of everything that we felt were kind of key determining factors for successful education plan and legislation. Put it all in one bill that focused on everything from pre-K up to 12th grade in Arkansas learns, from school safety to literacy to teacher pay to removing indoctrination and CRT to universal school choice. And I like to say we were one big beautiful bill before it existed.
Right.
And we went really bold and aggressive, and we were able to pass that legislation within the first couple months of me taking office, and we're already seeing massive impact and a change in our state for the better.
Where are a couple of places where you're like, I'm really proud of the impact of change that we're seeing right now?
I think a couple, and one would definitely be on the educator side. We know that having good teachers in the front of the classroom makes a huge impact on student success rates. And so not only did we want to reward our educators with higher teacher pay, which we did, we went from being at the very bottom in the country to top 5 for starting teacher pay, but we wanted every single teacher in our state to get a pay raise. And so we did that. But it's not just a straight dollar amount. We also instituted a merit-based pay system where teachers can get up to $10,000 in bonuses every year. And last year, 4,300 educators in our state got up to a $10,000 bonus. That's a big deal.
That's huge.
In any state, but especially a small state like Arkansas. You live in a small town and you're getting an extra $10,000 for doing a good job and getting recognized. So beyond just payment and saying we want good teachers, we're paying them better, recognizing them for their efforts. And we also started paying attention to the data of what they're doing that's actually working in the classroom. And I'll give you a quick example. We had a teacher in our state who year after year for almost 10 years kept performing above a lot of the other teachers. And she had one of the toughest classroom environments that you could find. She's in an F-rated school. She has students that are showing up with, one disadvantage after another. And yet her kids were performing better than most any other classroom in the state. The problem was nobody ever told her. Not only did she not know, her principal didn't know, her superintendent didn't know. So we weren't recognizing the good work. We also weren't replicating it. Yeah. And now we are. So we were taking what she was doing that's working in the classroom and asking her to share what she's doing with other teachers so that we can grow that success. So I think it was a lot of factors. I know you asked me for a couple of things. I've only given you one, and I've already taken half of our time.
No, I love it though.
But the other big piece would be literacy. Yeah. We know that if a kid's not reading by the time they hit 3rd grade and that critical benchmark, then we're setting them up for a lifetime of failure. Right. If you look at the incarceration rate in our country, 70% of those who are incarcerated can't read. It is a huge determining factor. And so we took, this is hard for me to say, but we took the success of the program in Mississippi. I love their governor, but it's football season, so all bets are off.
We're not cheering for them.
So we're not cheering for them. No. But in literacy, they went from being ranked at the bottom with, our state to over the last 10 years, they're now at number 22 in the country and rising because they put a huge focus on literacy, deploying literacy coaches all over their state. So we took what program that they had done and built on it and implemented that here in our state. I know that's one of those things we're going to see a big impact. And then the last one would be school choice. We are in year 3. We took a phased-in approach. Our first year, we opened it up to students in F-rated schools, students entering kindergarten, and students that had learning disabilities or challenges. In that first year, we had 5,000 students that were enrolled. In our second year, we opened up to our kids in D-rated schools, first responders and veterans families, and we had about 14,000 students that were enrolled. Now we're in year 3, and it's open to every single student in the state, and we have just over 50,000 students that are receiving Education Freedom Account money, and now have students that are in a place where they can thrive instead of struggle, and getting to the school or the environment that best fits their needs. And so I can talk education and what we did and why I'm proud of it all day, but those would probably be the 3 of the biggest things that I think we'll be able to look back from that legislation that will have decades-long impact.
Well, and I know as a leader, the type of leader you are, you're proud of the progress, but you're proud of the team.
Yeah.
You're proud of your team around you and your leadership around you, and the teachers and the principals and the district superintendents, everybody who took that and said, yeah, let's go make it happen, because
we had a few that weren't as excited.
I'm sure, yeah.
I think some more of them are coming around.
Yeah, but to have that many now students is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's great. Talk to me a little bit about, we hear this phrase a lot, like we're preparing kids for the jobs of the future, right? And not every student's path is college or, to go to college and have that type of education. A lot of them are preparing for the next phase. Where's your heart? What's y'all's approach in Arkansas to just preparing kids for those jobs of the future?
We think when a student graduates from high school, they should essentially be ready to do one of 3 things: either be employed, be enrolled, or be enlisted. So they either need to be ready to go into the workforce immediately upon graduation, they need to enlist in the military or some other type of service-oriented profession, or they need to enroll into their next level of education. So our goal is to help them achieve one of those 3 things and create a number of different ways to achieve that. And so after we passed Arkansas Learns, we passed Arkansas Access, which was a much bigger focus on higher education, but that doesn't just mean a 4-year university. It's your trade schools, it's your 2 years, it's your community colleges, because those are just as important. And for so long, we told every single young person in the country that if they graduated from high school and weren't immediately entering into a 4-year university, they were somehow less than. Yeah. And nothing could be further from the truth. There are a lot of people who build an incredible life without ever going to a 4-year university, some that never go on to any type of higher education. And we wanted, one, to get rid of that misconception that had to be their story, but also help them figure out what that looks like for them. What does success in their backyard look like, and how can we help them achieve that? And I think we've made tremendous progress on that front.
As a former pastor, I love your alliteration. I love the E's. I love it. I love a good E.
My dad was a pastor.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know.
I love a good E. I love a good E.
I learned from an early age, alliteration and repetition are key. So
it's easy for guys that are slow learners like me. If
I didn't like it as much when I was getting in trouble, and my dad was pointing it out with alliteration. But now I'm using it myself.
I love it. Let's switch a little bit from kind of the practical piece of education that we talk a lot about. Let's talk a little bit about character and values and the importance of that in education in the lives of students, because the education system in America is really set up to drive performance, and we talk a lot about the academic skills. Yeah. Talk some about your heart around the importance of character and values and character development and leadership development in the lives of the next generation.
It's interesting. One of the pieces of our legislation that gets, I would say, some of the least attention, but at the time was one of the most controversial parts of the legislation, which I was really taken aback by, but refused to remove it. But we require now, and it was part of that Learns legislation, that every high school student has a minimum amount of community service that they have to do. You would be shocked at the amount of pushback that we got from asking kids to help serve in their community. And people had all kinds of excuses of they already have too many things on their plate, they don't have enough time, a lot of kids don't have opportunity. And my answer to the argument that some of these kids may not have opportunity to do that was, those are the kids who need it more than anybody. These are the kids who have nobody in their home to look up to. Right. They have nothing that gives them a point of pride to say, say, I did that. And now we are helping align some of those things where, they drive by the Little League baseball field where they helped pick up the trash or paint the dugout, or maybe they tutored a kid in their own school and they get an A on their test, and it gives them something to say, I did that, I helped somebody else. Not only are we, I think, creating a better environment for our students, but you're also creating a value system and helping people recognize that we still want to help one another, we still want to serve one another, and doing so in a way that makes it tangible. But I think that one of the big problems we have, not just in our schools, but in our country, in our culture, is the lack of value for one another. You see it on social media all the time. I am a big advocate for removing the nonstop, constant access to social media and smartphones from our students, which is a big part of why we went bell to bell, no cell in Arkansas. Not super popular at my own house with a 13, 11, and 10-year-old.
Right.
And they are always, my kids are like, Mom, please stop telling everybody that you did that. But it's something that I'm really proud of, because I think one of the things that's lost in social media, and you see it in everything that we do, is the dehumanization of our society. And, you'll look at, I did learn a long time ago to stop reading the comments, but you look on social media and you see something, a post, and it's the meanest, nastiest comment you can imagine. And you think, you're going to look over at the profile picture and it's going to be just this mean, nasty, angry looking person. But instead, it's this sweet grandmother surrounded by all of her grandkids. And you're thinking, no way she's the one that said that.
Right.
But it's because we've gotten to a place in our culture where it's okay to say anything, do anything about anybody else.
Right.
And the more that we can instill values and character, whether it's in our schools or just in our day-to-day interaction, I'm all for, and I think we could use a lot more, not a lot less of it.
I love it. God, that's so well said. We're, as you know, starting with you guys in helping students with character development and values in a couple of your districts, and the teachers are just they're welcoming it.
Yeah.
And, we talked to Jacob earlier, and he just talked about how they've been begging for that type of thing in schools. So we're already seeing a little bit of momentum with that in Arkansas, like we're seeing around the country. Now, Alabama's ahead of you right now.
I don't
I'm just
believe
saying,
you.
Dr. Mackey.
There's no way it's
Dr. Mackey
true.
is ahead, so it's time. Let's be the A that let's be the right A.
We're just going to have to agree to disagree there. I cannot publicly acknowledge that Alabama is ahead of our state. So.
All right, last question. Then we're going to do some rapid fire
those
stuff,
are the
right?
ones that always
I
get you
know.
in trouble.
All right, so last question. Just talk a little bit about, we've seen you on the national stage. We've seen you stand in front of the nation. We've seen you do probably one of the hardest jobs in America, was being the press secretary. And now we're seeing you do another hard job. But one thing that we do see is you lead with courage and conviction in everything you do. Talk to a lot of the young leaders and young female leaders that don't see themselves as having that type of courage and conviction. How you've been able to do that and encourage them to be able to do the same.
The people ask me a lot, what is the best advice you've ever been given? And my dad has given me a lot of good advice. Some maybe not so good, but for the most
Yes.
part, I'd say he
Yes.
gives very good advice. And one of the most important lessons, whether it was politics or whatever role I was in, is to be who God created you to be. And don't try to be anything or anyone else. God gave each one of us a unique personality, unique skills, so be that person. And knowing that I have a faith that defines me, a creator who's given my life purpose, gives you, frankly, a lot of confidence to take on some of those big battles. I'm not looking for somebody else to tell me who I am or what I should believe in. I know that coming into it. And so that, I think, helps put all of the really complicated things in perspective. At the end of the day, if I can look in the mirror and know that I either made decisions or did things that I thought were right and based off of principle, then everything else gets a lot easier after that. And so it doesn't mean the job is easy, but it means that kind of getting through some of those really hard days get a little
The
bit
perspective
easier.
is a lot easier
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, that's great. All right, rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, you're gonna.
I'll tell you when we're
You're gonna
finished.
crush these. You're gonna crush them. All right, University of Arkansas.
Go Hawks.
We're 1-1.
Yes.
Okay, we beat a tough Arkansas.
Oh, we're a we now. I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
Arkansas. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I got the thing.
I
Yeah,
appreciate-
Arkansas.
I
right,
appreciate that
right.
you
I'm
went
with you.
all the way.
I'm 1-1.
with you.
I'm not
with
saying
you.
2-0.
We're always on a
The
recruitment
Bulldogs,
tour, so I'm glad.
Bulldogs
that-
are 3-0. I'm not saying that. I'm just
Okay,
saying we're 1-1.
that's fine.
We beat a tough Arkansas State team, right? Local
Yeah.
team. We took them down. Lost a tough one to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
For Arkansas to win out, what has to happen?
We have to get more points than the other teams.
Boy, that is a politician answer.
I mean, we have, I think, all of the skill and the talent.
Yep.
We just need it to all be there on the same day.
I love it. Yeah.
We have an amazing coach. I'm
Love
a
it.
big fan of Sam Pittman
Yep.
because I know that he really loves Arkansas. He loves his players, and he wants us to win, not just so we can say we won, but he wants it for the kids that he's coaching. And you can see his commitment to the program and to the state. And so for him, for our team, I hope that we win the rest of them. I will always be the eternal Razorback optimist. I think we're going to win every game. We can be down 30 points with 2 minutes left. I'm like, there's still a chance.
Still a chance. Yeah.
And so I'm very hopeful that
Okay.
we win the rest of our games. But if we can only win a few, I hope that we beat Texas and LSU. If
There
I'm
you
just
go.
picking, if I'm
There you
picking
go.
games to
Those
win,
are two good teams to beat.
I mean,
Let's be honest.
It doesn't matter. Any year, those are going to
Let's
be
be
two.
honest.
I
love it.
Yeah.
All right, last question. 3 beautiful children. We've seen, pictures of them everywhere in here. In 20 years, you want them to say what about their mom?
I want them to say that they never questioned whether or not I loved them and showed up for them, and that I led with faith and conviction that they could be proud of.
I love it. This has been awesome. Can we come back tomorrow?
I mean, sure. I don't know if I'll be here, but y'all can come
We'll
back.
just follow you around.
I can't promise you get
Yeah.
to come in, but yeah.
We stand out. We'll be on the road. That'll be fine.
The weather this time of year is great,
it
so
is-
if you get
yeah, it'd
stuck
be great.
outside, so.
This has been great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I mean, everybody has to be overjoyed at what we just heard. All the nuggets. Don't listen to this on 1.5. You got to listen to this at 0. Slow it down because we got nuggets. Thank you again for being with us, and blessings to you and your leadership. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.